myself my homemade meatballs. I scoop them out with a 2-ounce scoop. By the time they cook down, they're quite a bit smaller, but that's just the way it goes. Oh, I got some lovely, I bought this at the deli, this carrot cake here. Got the coconut, you see that coconut on there, isn't that something? Wow. Yeah, one more look at that spaghetti. I know, it's beautiful, isn't it? And I got some hot chocolate. Good old hot chocolate. This is all comfort food. What am I saying? Any food I eat is comfort food. I love food. Got some water. There we are. Okay, I'm going to dig in. Oh man, I love this. Well, I'm going to have a meatball right away. Going for a meatball. Before I go any further, Uncle Snake Hips, happy birthday, my friend. Uncle is 30 years old on November 30th. So a big shout out and a big happy birthday to Uncle Snake Hips, who's been with me from the beginning, and I very much appreciate that. You know, he now has a little family, he has a son and a lovely partner. He's got a lovely little family. Things are really going good for Uncle. I just wish him all the best. He's such an awesome man. And a big shout out to the rest of you as well. I appreciate your support, I really do. Oh man, this is so good. Now, it's fall here where I live. I'm sure it's fall where a lot of you live. Maybe in other parts of the world it might be spring, you know. I'm not sure about New Zealand or Australia or whatever, but anyways, it's fall here. Now, I used to really dislike fall. Actually, may I be struck down by lightning for saying this word. I used to hate fall. Anyways, a friend of mine told me back in the 70s, he said, Mark, the only thing you should ever hate is the word itself. So I try to avoid using the word hate. I was watching an episode of House Hunters the other night. There's a young man on there and he's going on about the different houses he looked at, him and his partner, and yeah, he said, this house, I hated this and I hated that. It just, it sounded very unappealing to, he could have used lots of other words. Bay leaf. So anyway, I used to really loathe and dislike fall. Mainly because clearly it's into summer. I mean, once September hits, to me that feels like fall. Even though it's not till the 21st. When summer's over, it still feels like fall. And when my kids were little, I loved having them at home for the summer holidays. When I went to school, I loved summer holidays. I mean, July and August, Sometimes we get out of school at maybe June 26th, not go back till sometimes, September 6th or 8th or whatever, depending, right? But come fall, you knew it was all over, and that winter was on its way. And when I lived in Saskatoon, man, I love that city. Great memories there. It'll always be my hometown. I love Saskatchewan, but man, the winters were brutal. Really cold. Really cold. So now I've learned to love fall and I love winter. Why? Because as I get older, I start to appreciate everything that I have around me. Because I mean, I'm 68 years old at the time of this recording, I don't have a lot of years left. Now my mom will be 100 on her next birthday, but I doubt very much if I'll live as long as her. I might, but I doubt it. Now recently, Linda and I started preparing, for the fall, getting rid of our garden, pulling everything up. I make that with Fry's cocoa powder. I'll have to show you sometime. I love my spaghetti. So we started pulling everything up. Linda's son-in-law brought a big trailer over, and we filled that thing in no time. We bucked off a lot of branches in the backyard, a lot of overhanging branches, a lot of branches that were just overgrown. You couldn't walk underneath without, banging your head or kind of clotheslining yourself, and we just really cleaned things up, tidied everything up. Put the swimming pool away. The swimming pool is it's so hard to do that because during the summer it's this beautiful blue swimming pool. I'm sure from the air it looks amazing, big round dot, Now it's a big black dot. It just looks so forlorn and so cold and unappealing. Now we had leaves and leaves and leaves. I meant to get a picture of this. I didn't take it in time. We had 4 oversized industrial-sized garbage bags, which are way bigger than what you use at home. They were full of leaves. And Linda's son-in-law took those away before I got a chance to take a picture of them, but there was 4 of them lined up against the fence. I cleaned the gutters twice in about 2 weeks. There's one tree that has these red maple leaves. Beautiful tree. Within days after taking a picture, they turned brown. That's right by the back door, so everybody tracks them into the house. So, anyways, the trees are all losing their leaves. Now, fall has some beautiful colors. I remember when I lived in Saskatchewan, and when I look at pictures of Ontario and all that, and see all the beautiful colors. And we have the trees out here too, like a lot of maples. We have the broadleaf maples, big, huge maple leaves, and poplar trees and birch and all that. But we also have a lot of evergreen trees, spruce and pine and that kind of thing, right? But they're so colorful. I just love. On my way to my condo, I turn off a main road and I kind of go through this sort of residential area. It's kind of a winding road. It's been on my videos before. But during the fall, it's got all the trees are all. The leaves are so beautiful. I always make lots of meatballs. And because I make of small. I make a lot of them. There's a lovely Italian restaurant in Victoria that I like to go to called El Terrazzo, and it's a wonderful restaurant, lovely. But their spaghetti meatballs, the meatballs are like tennis balls, are huge. This is so good. I use a lot of garlic when I cook, especially with pasta. With this pasta, I use Italian sausage meat. And Linda and I make our own tomato sauce, our own, we can our own tomatoes, our own tomato sauce, that sort of thing. Salsa, whatever. So I had our own tomato sauce. I put those nice big stuffed olives. I slice those up and throw some in there. Always use fresh basil. We grow our own basil. Mushrooms, onion, pepper. We grew some beautiful jalapeno peppers. Last summer, wow, got a real kick to them, let me tell you. Whew. When I make spaghetti, I make enough to last about 3 days, and even then, sometimes I end up freezing some. I love pasta. It's funny, as a kid I grew up, my mom made wonderful meals. Her pork chops are the best. She didn't like rare meat, so roast beef was always overcooked and everything else, but a very good cook except for pasta was not her thing, so spaghetti was just very basic, you know. And I never really appreciated spaghetti until I remember this one night when I was a teenager in Saskatoon. This restaurant was promoting itself, and Tuesday nights they had all the spaghetti you could eat for $1. This is back in the 70s. This is about 1971, 72, I guess, thereabouts. So anyways, all the spaghetti you could eat. And they'd give you a big oval plate full of spaghetti. Well, I mean, like, one was enough, so, you know, pretty cheap eating. Go there and have a big plate of spaghetti for $1. That's when I discovered that spaghetti was actually really good. My parents were never adventurous when it came to eating. Like I said in a video I made recently, I never ate pizza till I think I was like 10 or something like that. This kind of thing. They ventured out for Chinese food at some point, and even for the longest time, my mom wouldn't eat Chinese food. Then when she tasted it, she loved it. My sister was the same way. Wouldn't touch it. No, she was a Chinese food junkie. So my parents weren't very like some new thing, you know. She thought she was the only person that had ever eaten this. She was telling everybody, you know, about this quesadilla, you know. Anyways, I'm glad that she discovered the quesadilla. She loves the chicken quesadilla. Itchy nose. But it really takes just for her to try something. And it's hard to get her to do that. What she does, she usually likes it. Put this over here. There we are. So anyways, we got all our stuff put away for fall. And so that's all done. And I'm quite happy about that. It was a lot of work. Nice to get it over with. We grew some really nice pumpkins this year. Really nice pumpkins. This was actually the first year we didn't have to buy any pumpkins for Halloween. I lived in Saskatoon. We grew really big pumpkins. This cream cheese icing with the coconut is to die for. So good. White chocolate. Not really a fan of white chocolate. I don't drink hot chocolate as much as I used to. When I was a kid, loved hot chocolate. I still do, but when I come in the house after shoveling snow or something or working outside in the cold, I prefer just a hot cup of coffee. Or I've gone back into drinking herb tea, especially at nighttime after dinner. I used to drink herb tea all the time. For the obvious reason that coffee would keep me awake. And I try not to drink coffee. Well, actually, I got in a very successful habit of not drinking coffee past, I think 5 in the afternoon or something. So I drink herb tea instead. So I've gotten back into drinking herb tea. Years ago, I used to drink orange zinger and lemon zinger. So I went looking for tea, and I found this lemon ginger. I tried that, and for years I would not touch peppermint tea. But I started drinking peppermint tea years ago, and I found it to be quite enjoyable. So I bought some peppermint, some orange zinger, and some orange ginger and lemon ginger. Getting off the caffeine definitely helps me sleep better. So I don't drink caffeine Generally past 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I used to have a cup of coffee at nighttime. I'd be watching TV at 8 or 9 o'clock and drinking coffee. Fall asleep, go to the bathroom, 2 in the morning. Couldn't go back to sleep. So, Uncle Snake Hips, I'm eating some of your birthday cake here. I often wonder how people arrive at their online names. I see a lot of different names. I think, what's the story behind that? I think it'd be interesting if you'd be willing to share some of that with me. If you would just, in the comment section, just volunteer, the story behind your name, not your real name, but your online name, like why do you call yourself this or that, why do I call myself oral fixated? Well, oral, hearing, fixated on that, especially nice quiet whispering. Whenever I go to the deli and buy this carrot cake, I always tell them that they make the best, because they do. Well, that piece of cake looked like one of the smaller ones, but it's quite big. So the weather's definitely changing up here. We get some beautiful days, beautiful fall days. The other day, I was driving, I got to a crosswalk, some high school kids going across the street. One kid was just wearing a t-shirt, The other kid had a light jacket. Now, of course, you live in California, you probably think I'm crazy to talk like that, because I'm sure it's like that all the time, but here it's a little bit cooler up here. Now, where I live on the island, the temperatures are nowhere near that of where I used to live in Saskatoon. But we've had a couple of frosts so far. But just a lot of rain. We mostly get a lot of rain. November is when we typically get is typically when we get our high windstorms. I made a video last year about the bomb cyclone. I get a kick out of these names that the meteorologists use. Bomb cyclone, atmospheric river, that sort of thing. So we generally get very, very windy, rainy days in November. If it gets snow, it's usually January, February. I haven't had a white Christmas in years. When I lived in Saskatoon, we always had a white Christmas. I guess some people probably never had a white Christmas. Stone's cup. That's the same cup that I have on my reporter series. So, fall really is kind of nice. I don't mind winter. And you have to realize, my friends, that at my age, the time goes so fast. Here we are in November. Before I know it, it'll be Christmas. Christmas will be over. Valentine's Day, spring is just around the corner. I mean, I'll look at it this way. In a little bit more than a month, the days start getting longer. So that's something to look forward to. But I find the older I get, time just goes so fast. It's like I get up in the morning and go to bed at night. Get up, go to bed. Anything in between is just a blur. Or it seems that way. Getting full. That was a lot of food. Yeah, before I know it, it'll be spring. I just had a cleaning and a checkup at the dentist, and no cavities. But I go every 4 months rather than every 6 months. So I'm going again in March 10th, and I can guarantee you, it'll be here before I know it. Those meatballs made me thirsty. Nice color, eh? Well, there it is, my friends. That's my fall video. Hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. So in the meantime, you look after yourselves, look after each other. Stay amazing in the land of awesome. You want a shout out, hit me up. Check out my playlist, okay? A lot of people ask me about this video or that video. Check out my playlist. Just click on playlist. I got lots of hamburger videos, pizza videos, whisper videos, eating videos, non-eating, non-whisper, epic stories. Just, click on my playlist and take your pick. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in, my friends. We'll see you next time, okay? Bye now.